Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich with your Christo-Pagan Sunday. Rather than doing our normal lesson-driven Christo-Pagan Sunday, as we tend to do with the either Nag Hammadi scriptures or the canonical scriptures, uh, I wanted to start with explaining a little bit more about the church that I'm setting up with all of y'all's help. Um, I wanted to start explaining a little bit more in detail what I'm envisioning and what I would like to come from this. Um, so I already made this video once and it was so haphazard, and I wanted to kind of narrow down the focus and how I explain everything. So let's get into the first part. Let's just go down the questions of who, what, where, when, why, how, all that stuff. So the who. Who is this meant for is basically Christo-Pagans. However, anybody within the pagan witchy sphere can, of course, join or be a part of a service, and they are welcomed without without expectation of following a certain tradition. And I really want this to be what I want it to be. Let's go with the what. What I want it to be is a type of service, kind of like a ritual layout. Of course, I'm going to be doing a circle casting and whatnot, calling quarters, and evoking deity into the space. However, and I'll get into more about evoking deity and what that means in the context of the church. But what I want to do is have this more as a setup for a type of service so everybody can have that experience of circle or the experience of ritual with other people in live time. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be broadcast live. It's going to be broadcast as a premiere on YouTube, and I'll explain more about that in a second. But if you join into the group at the same time, we can experience this this togetherness, this community that we are all a part of. Whether this is whether you are here for the witchy aspect, or whether you're here for the Christo-Pagan aspect, whether you're here because you are Celtic in nature or Greek in nature with your pantheons, whether you have no pantheon at all but want to come and enjoy the community, enjoy the atmosphere that we are creating and the togetherness that we are enjoying with one another. That is really what I want to have happen with this. It is going to be, because it is primarily a Christo-Pagan type of service, there are going to be elements that are, of course, taken from biblical scriptures or Nag Hammadi scriptures or the mythos surrounding those. Of course, there's going to be sermons or lessons or services, whatever nomenclature you want to put on it. There will be ones that are kind of divorced from scripture, and that's fine. I actually have one rattling around in my brain of the Lord of the Rings and how I can incorporate that into learning lessons and whatnot, because I absolutely love Lord of the Rings. But I have an idea of a service for incorporating Lord of the Rings in with everything else and whatnot, and I think it will be awesome to do a service like that. But what I really want to do is foster that community that we have as not only Christo-Pagans but as witches, magical practitioners, pagans, what have you, into one place at one time where we can enjoy the camaraderie with one another. So we did the who, what, where, and the where is going to be here on YouTube, of course. I'm batting around a couple ideas with this. One, I don't know if I want to do a separate channel just for those and have it in the name of the church. By the way, little plug here, if you want to be a part of helping name said church, go and become a patron at Patreon. You do get perks. You get access to Discord, to the Facebook, whenever the Facebook group is created, for $5 a month. And this is for October, November, December. So for $15 total, if you continue throughout into the new year, and then you can drop your membership then if you wish. However, the membership as of right now is for the founders. So if you want to come up with ideas for lessons that we cover, I have a whole list of ideas that would take me about a couple years to do. But if you have something specific that you say, oh, hey, you know what, can we address this a little earlier than you probably had planned or did not have planned at all? Absolutely. You know, you get to have input of these topics early on. Not only that, you get to help name the church. So if, you know, you have a name in mind, I have one in mind, and I want to bat that idea around with some people to see if that would be a good consensus of this is a good name to go with. Absolutely. That type of thing. So, little plug over. Go down into the description box down below to sign up for Patreon, and you get these videos early, usually right after I do those said videos. They will be on Patreon for you to see. Okay, and that's all videos. And let's see, what else? Who, what, where? Okay, where is also on the Christo-Pagan podcast, which will be coming out as of January. So I also need ideas on, do I put all videos that I do on YouTube also on the podcast, or do I only put the Christo-Pagan content on that podcast, like our Christo-Pagan Sundays, which are now going to Wednesdays. If you saw the video that I did on the 1st, this is no new news. If you haven't seen that, be sure to go to that video, because there's a special surprise at the very end that I don't want to necessarily say exactly what that surprise is, but go back and watch that video to the end, because there is a certain surprise just for those people. So anyway, where it's going to be is here in the witchy room. I'm going to be setting circle. I'm going to be holding space here in the witchy room and setting us in a place outside of place and a time outside of time, basically, as circles are. All of this will be pre-recorded, as I've already said, and will be aired as a premiere, so I can be in that group along with you and not have to worry about a live chat scrolling along as I'm, trying to stay on topic with a service. Again, this is going to be somewhat like a church service. However, it's going to be a little bit more relaxed. It's not going to be overtly formal. There are some formal aspects, such as the setting of space, by calling quarters, or casting circle, calling quarters, the purification that I go through ahead of time, making sure that myself, that I am in a decent headspace, that I am in the correct headspace to lead everybody in this type of service. That is a very important part, and I'm going to speak more about that here in another video, because I'm going to go through each aspect of the church service, so you all are on the same page as me, I guess, as to what I expect to happen for each individual service. Anyway, that's for a future video. Anyway, it will be premiered. I'm thinking about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If that is not feasible for the majority, of course, we'll change it. The reason that I picked around that time is because That way I can be in the chat with you all. And if I can be in the chat with you all, we can all come together as a group, again, setting that space outside of time and space. And I can even partake in that when I'm down in Dover on my military weekends. So, a lot of fun with that. I want this channel to be, and especially the church part of this channel, to be a part of the community, the fostering of community, the growing of community, and really just that communion, that fellowship with one another that many of us enjoyed about the church life, but not necessarily always the doctrine. Okay. Who, what, when, where? Wait, when? Did I say when? It's going to be on Sundays, okay, at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Where? Already said that. Why? Why am I doing this? Again, this is to foster community, and that's a point that has been a part of my channel for quite some time now. It's also the services themselves, because I'm not going to be... Hold on. I got props. Since I'm not going to be sitting there saying, well, Luke chapter 7 verse 11 says this, since I'm not going to be going purely from scripture, and I might pick a part of the Christian mythos here and there as a jumping off point for a wider talk about something else, such as, say I wanted to do a topic of, oh, come on, Rich, think of something here real quick. Say I wanted to do a topic on finances. Okay, I have my oil here, my money oil. So say I wanted to do a talk on finances, maybe I can go with, I believe it's in Matthew, it's greater for a rich man, it's easier for a rich man to go through the eye of a needle than a poor, or it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. That's the one. Sorry, brain fog there for a second. Or maybe I'll read the verse that says, sell all your stuff, give it to the poor. And, maybe I'll go with that, and then go into, one way that you can help raise money for the poor is by making a spell oil or something like that. Maybe I'll go into that, and I'll riff off of, budgeting and, tracking your finances and making sure that you're not overspending beyond your means and stuff like that. Maybe I'll just take that as a starting point for the greater lesson. Similar to what I did in last Sunday's video whenever I talked about anger, and I went with a little story of what happened in my life during that week, and how I got angry at times and whatnot, and then I linked it to a Bible verse, and maybe I have the answers to something, but maybe I also do not. And so even if I don't, what is revealed in that time is bringing me to my best self and helping me to explore my way of being, and helping me evolve into a better version of myself. So, and that's really what I've started to try to do with my channel, is foster community and help people along with myself become our best selves, to constantly strive to be better than what we were the day before. So that's a huge part of why I want to do this church type of setting. The ones of us who went to church for many years of our lives and absolutely loved the community aspect, the fellowship with one another, and exploring the connectedness that we can have with one another is very important. But also the aspects of constantly striving to be better than what we were before is something that I am totally there for, you know. But the community, bettering each other as well as ourselves, is a huge part of this church. You know, like I said in that October 1st video, I'm not expecting this to be a huge mega church, and never would expect that. I don't think that, you know, there's enough of an avenue or enough of an audience for something like that. Nor do I like to speak in front of large crowds, which, you know, if you end up having a mega church, would be something that would end up happening. Yeah, no, people would end up wanting a live service and everything. And I honestly stutter way too much, and I get off topic way too often in order to be able to make that a thing that actually happens. But in doing this service and having it pre-recorded, I can edit it and, you know, gussy it up a little bit, make sure that it's just right for, you know, consumption from the masses, and you know, have that connectedness with you while it's premiering. So anyway, let's see, who, what, where, when, why, how. I don't have a how. How am I doing this? Like I said, I'm pre-recording this. You know, how do you get involved? Go down to Patreon and be a $5 founder for the church, and yeah, we'll discuss how you can get more involved. I also said in that October 1st video about a newsletter. Absolutely, I think that would be absolutely fun. A way for people to contribute their artwork or their poetry, their stories, their own lessons that they can incorporate and pass on to others. You know, if you're a writer, fantastic. You know, let me know. If you are an artist and you want to just share your artwork, fantastic. Let's involve it. This is going to be a digital newsletter. It's not going to be print, because that can get rather expensive. But a digital medium that doesn't cost like anything and costs very little to actually produce other than time, I think would be absolutely fun. And if you want to get in on that especially, you don't have to be a patron. Just let me know that you're interested, because I think that would be absolutely fun. And yeah. Oh, let's see. What else? Yeah, I don't think I have anything else for the church specifically. I do have ideas for future videos here to explain each aspect of what I'm doing in the service when setting up circle, you know, the words that I would be saying, or the roundabout words that I'm going to be saying, the actions that I'm going to be taking, the format for how I'm doing everything, such as I am not going to have hymns. For one, you don't want to hear me sing, rightfully so. For two, certain hymns are still copyrighted, and I don't want to have to go through the headache of finding one that has no copyright on it, and not only that the words are not copyrighted, but the music itself is not copyrighted. I don't want to go through the headache of trying to figure out which ones are public domain. So it's just going to be, instead of hymns, I'm going to say poetry. You know, so if you have poetry that you want to submit for being read in service, if it fits with the rest of the service, fantastic. You know, maybe I'll squirrel it away for a future service, or build a service around it entirely. Stuff like that. So those types of things I'm going to be making videos on in the future here for the Sundays. So they're going to be a little bit more relaxed than the previous Christo-Pagan Sundays, but there's going to be a lot of information that is going to be said in those videos, so please do watch those as well. Let's see, I had something else that was on the tip of my tongue, before I finished the last sentence, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, this is going to be sort of like a catechism type of class, but not necessarily as strict as catechism. Like I said, this is a church that is for everybody, kind of like the Unitarian Universalist Church. Let me get my words right here. But similar to it, but not the same necessary traditions. This is going to be similar in the nature that you don't have to be a Christian or a pagan or a Christo-Pagan or necessarily a witch. But, you know, everybody's welcome for a fun, hopefully fun, uplifting type of service, a nice little talk, you know, something of that nature. So, yeah, I think this should be a good a good type of community building experience is the word I'm looking for. An experience of community building. I think that would be awesome. So yeah, I think that that pretty much wraps up what I was going to say today. Like I said, the next couple videos for Christo-Pagan Sundays are going to be those catechism type of classes, because there are not necessarily, we're not going with a certain tradition. We're going to mix things in from different traditions and everything. Those types of classes are a little bit more needed in order to have everybody on the same track, so we are all knowing what is going on and why it's actually happening. Because as you all know, if you watch these videos on a regular basis, the why behind what we do is very important to me. So keep in tune for that, or stay tuned for those videos. I will catch you all on Tuesday for a Tarot Talk Tuesday, because we are we're doing a deck review and reveal, and I think I remember which video this is. I filmed it back in February, and I'm pretty sure I know which video this is, but I cannot remember exactly. This is February 26th that I filmed it, so it's going to be a flashback several months. What, 8 months now? Jeez. No. 7 months and a couple days. So it's going to be a flashback, and I'm going to be facing a different way. There's a different background, all that stuff. But yeah, I filmed it a while ago in order to be able to use the deck. And I actually think, if I'm remembering correctly, this is my boyfriend's deck that I review and reveal. But yeah, you all can enjoy that on Tuesday. And then Witchy Wednesday, I think we're going to go through some of the eBay items that I have up and how you can use those in your magical practice. So if you like thrifting, or you like to see how to use some thrifty items or thrifted items in your practice, absolutely stay tuned for that. And I think I just had an idea. I might offer a coupon code in the description there for that one. So yeah, I think that might be what happens there. Let's see. On Table Talk Thursday, that one's already done. I can't remember exactly what the topic is, but join me for Table Talk Thursday, and our last chapter in the Outer Temple of Witchcraft is on our Witchy Book Club series on Saturdays, so stay tuned for that one. I still need people to say in the comments below what book you want to do next. Do we want to continue with the Shamanic Witchcraft, the Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft, or do we want to go on to a different book entirely, or a different series entirely, change it up with a different author, something of that nature? Do we want to continue with the Temple series right now, or have a palette cleanser with a different book just for one time, and then we'll go back to the Temple series? Leave your comments down below of what you would like to do. I think it's more skewed towards going to another book just as a palate cleanser, and coming back to the the Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft. Eventually, I'm going to get that title down pat. Eventually. Yeah. And, yeah, then join me here for another Christo-Pagan Sunday, and we start all over again. So, until next time, you know, hit up hit that subscribe button right over there. Hit that bell notification because YouTube might notify you whenever new videos come out. Hit that like or dislike button. Doesn't matter to me. All appease the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. And remember to leave a comment telling me what you think, what you agree, disagree, all that stuff. And until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye.